And we're back, and this is the, well, I've seen people call it the twin route. I don't, it doesn't look like it would be Yoru's route, so guessing it's a twin route, so I'll call it that until something changes my mind. That night, a few days had passed since she'd given me that vague answer. This summer vacation had started. If you don't know what's happening, you go back to the Aza route start, because that's where this all started. I was still active in the club, but I never saw Aza there. Ever since then, Aza never showed her face around the club. She just kept herself holed up in her room. The situation did nothing to boost our morale. As for me, I worried about it every waking moment of every day. Impossible, I can't choose either one of them. The Aza who thinks this highly of me. It's not so easy to just ignore Aza's feelings. I just can't. But it was just as impossible to try to pretend I don't know how Yoru feels. Yoru had been praying that her sister's love would triumph, so much so that she had smothered her own feelings to death. Yoru was always one step ahead of her sister, and the reason why Yoru did this kind of thing would be because she understood the hopeless situation. And no, that's not my main issue. But me right now can't just ditch Aza either. I've been incredibly indecisive. Aza and Yoru are both really important to me. It's not like I can just choose one of them. If I do, there's a chance it'll end up creating a rift between the two of them. So I'm... She asks that before I even say anything. She's really observant. Yeah, well then... It took a lot of courage to say something like that. If I actually came out with it, Yoru might have ended up hating me and was that kind of thing, but... I'm sorry. That was it, I had to say it. I should have told her properly. I was a little surprised that Yoru took it so easily. It seemed like she was totally ready for it. My words, my answer. You think so? I was thinking of turning down Aza's confession. Of course, it seemed Yoru was a little surprised by this. I'm sorry, I know it's true, but... I'm really sorry. She looks really miserable and apologizes. She's probably embarrassed about how upset she'd become. It was a hard question to answer. Someone I like. There was someone that fit the bill, but... Let's see, I guess I don't really know. I wasn't very straight with her. I still didn't really know how I felt at that point. I had this feeling I liked both of them, but that was... That's a mean way to put it. Sorry, I don't really have time to tell you everything now, but I just feel like I don't have anything to hold on to. But anyway, I guess I chose to have it this way. I couldn't explain. I thought it would be best to just avoid the issue. Yoru gave a little nod as if she was agreeing to something, and then... She said it with such a strange smile on her face. Yoru, she's really tough. I thought she was nice. That's why I had that painful tightness in my chest. It's me, can I come in? After I entered her room, Aza became fidgety and she couldn't seem to settle down. I'm sorry about the other day. No matter what, it was going to be awkward for Elsa to speak to me. She averted her eyes while she spoke.
先輩
Uh,
私分かってます。先輩に言われる前から分かってます。部活だってソアリングだって何だって私はいつも自分の拠り所を探していました。それで今回は先輩のことが気になりだしたりして。
Everything was going all wrong. I should have spoken up first. I couldn't let Ozza say any more than this. I was caught totally off guard, and I ended up letting Ozza break the bad news to me. That was all wrong. I've been thinking... Got confused for a second. I've been thinking hard about it, trying to come up with my own answer, so... I'm sorry, I can't really reciprocate your feelings. Oh, I ended up hurting Ozza, too. I knew that's how it had to be, but it still hurt. I wondered why the two of them were both so desperate to be with me. No, it wasn't the time to think about that. I had to tell her properly. I apologized to Yoru, too. Actually, Yoru confessed to me later that day, so I apologized. Yoru was glad too, but I didn't know how to handle it. That's why I feel so bad, sorry.
どうしてですか?
In a raspy tone, Asa gave voice to her doubts.
どうして夜ちゃんはいい子ですよ。先輩言ってたじゃないですか。かっこいいって。それなのにどうして?
No, I don't think of her like that. That is not the sound effect she made. I told her clearly, straight up. I didn't think of her like that. Because I'm not really interested in either of you. Wow. Well, that's a way to put it. I didn't need to say anything else. That was all there was to it. So, I'm sorry.
それは嘘です。
Huh?
私はずっと人の顔ばかり気にして生きてきました。だからわかるんです。先輩は嘘をついています。
What? When I heard her say that, it was as if she was peering right into my heart.
だって先輩はそんな後ろめたそうに目をそらして話す人じゃありません。
I didn't mean to, I just did it unconsciously.
いつも堂々としてて楽しそうで一生懸命で、だからそんな申し訳なさそうな顔はしません。先輩はそういう顔は。
I forgot. Asa was always extremely sensitive to what was going on around her, to people's gestures. She's the type of girl who's careful regarding the subtleties of this sort of sensitive person.
私は先輩がヨルちゃんを選んでもヨルちゃんを恨んだりしません。そりゃ落ち込むことはあるかもしれないですけど、それはそれで当然というか。
No, you're wrong, Asa. That's not how it is.
出てってください。
Asa,
お願いします。
I wanted to clear things up. I wanted to explain. But I just couldn't. There was nothing else I could do. In fact, everything that Asa said was completely true. She was exactly right. It was true that things were helpless. There was nothing I could do except leave without saying a word. I failed. I just lay down on my bed staring at the ceiling, reflecting on the big mistake I'd just made. Even though I hadn't wanted to hurt Asa. If I had just clearly chosen like one or the other, I probably would have still ended up hurting the other one. When I look at it like this, I understand far too much. I was really hung up on both Asa and Yoru. I mean, that's how I felt. I could have called that woozy sentimental love, but I would probably end up offending someone. But after all, both of them. The next morning,
朝まだ熱が下がらないんだって。一度治りかけてたけどぶり返しちゃったんだって。だから今日も部活お休みらしいよ。朝ごはんもパスみたい。
Asa didn't show up at breakfast. Seems like her condition is deteriorating. They made a meal for her before we knew she was sick, but it was left on the table untouched. Anyway, before we start eating, we can wrap it up and put it in the fridge.
で何かあったの？
Kanako was coming closer, so I whispered. What? Yeah, what happened was...
だって葵くん朝から落ち着きがないし、お箸を何とも持ち直してご飯食べなかったりかと思ったら、朝ちゃんの食事片付け始めたり。
Started to clear the table, that's weird. That's true, isn't it?
またなんかあったのかなーって思ってさ。ほら、あっちもおかしいし。
Yoru just kept silently eating. Whole time she had a permanent scowl on her face.
怒らせるようなことしちゃった？
No, that... I did. I just couldn't bring myself to turn her down directly. I'd been planning to turn her down, so I figured it would turn out like this. Maybe it's no problem. Maybe it would have been better if I just finished things off with her still misunderstanding. But I just kept thinking about it all night last night. Just circling around and around through the labyrinth of my thoughts, but I couldn't find any answers. Well, for now, let's just ask Yoru how Asa was doing last night.
先輩、
Yoru started to talk before I got a chance.
ごめんなさい。
Man, she even apologized. What? What? Why are you apologizing? I should be the one apologizing here.
どうして先輩が謝るんですか？
Well, you know, you were upset that I didn't turn down Asa more directly.
触れなかったんですか？
No, I did, but for some reason it just left me with a bad aftertaste.
私がさっきイライラしていたのは先輩に対してじゃなくて姉さんに対してです。
Really? I was a little taken aback by Yogi's abrupt revelation. Because I thought that she was angry with me for hurting Asa. I thought she was mad that I didn't turn her down directly.
姉さんが意味のわからないことを言って子供みたいに閉じこもってるから怒っていたんです。
Said something you don't understand?
はい。部屋に戻ったら姉さんはすごく落ち込んでいました。だから励まそうとしたんです。先輩に振られたから落ち込んでると思ったから。だから元気づけようと。でも
But...
姉さん、振られてショックなわけではないって言うんです。だったら何なのかって聞いたんですが、ただ私にごめんって謝ってくるだけで。
Apologized. Of course, Asa misunderstood. She thought that I was trying to keep my distance from her so I could be with Yoru. She was pretty close, but still off the mark. But there was no way to explain it to her. It was a tricky situation.
今朝もそんな感じです。多分熱はないですよ。引きこもっていたいみたいです。
Yeah, that's probably true. I understood, of course, she didn't have a fever at all.
先輩は私のことも姉さんに言ったんですよね。
Yeah, I told her that I turned you down first. I apologized to her too on top of that.
先輩が姉さんにどういうことを言ったのかわからないですが、多分姉さんは誤解しているんだと思います。自分を傷つけようとしまいとして私を振ったんじゃないかって。
Misunderstood. Of course she did. Just to sum it up with a word, misunderstood didn't really take everything into account.
姉さんはちょっと卑屈すぎます。そんなことで勘違いして先輩の気持ちも考えず自分のことばかり考えてちょっとわがまますぎです。だから怒ってたんです。
I wondered how I had failed so miserably. Even though I only turned them down because I didn't want to see them get upset with one another. Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. How could I have been so stupid?
もういいです。姉さんのことは放っておきます。
Huh?
姉さんがあそこまでわがままだとは思いませんでしたから。姉さんが頭を冷やしてくれるまでは絶好です。
No, I had to tell her. If I didn't, then it would be my fault when things got weird between the two of them. Things are already too messed up as they were. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I lied.
嘘。とりあえず学校に行きながらお話ししましょうか。
We walked along silently, side by side. Felt like Yoru was waiting for me to say something. It was tricky, it was hard to get the words out of my mouth. But I had to say something. I like you. What happened to the background? But you know, I like Aza too.
それは
Made up my mind to tell her. I realized that I had to tell her. But I knew you wouldn't put up with that, so I just made up my mind to apologize to both of you. That's why I refused both of your feelings, but Aza must have seen through it.
へえ。
Yoru's lips were quivering. I suppose that's natural. And I guess what I was saying was selfish too in the end. Then unexpectedly,
つまり先輩は私のことも好きと？
yep,
姉さんのことも？
I guess so. I just answered honestly. Yoru looked confused and her eyes bobbed back and forth. Like she had absolutely no idea how to respond.
さすが先輩ですね。いろいろとちょっとおかしいです。
I realized that and I'm sorry. I guess if I said that, I really didn't realize what was going on. But there was nothing I could do. It wasn't like I was unable to decide. The fact was I wanted both of them. I liked them both so much that there was no way to compare them. I mean, really, I'm sorry. I tried to trick you too, and I'm really, really sorry about that.
でもやっぱり姉さんが悪いですよ。それだと。
What?
私は姉さん以外の人間には鈍感ですから、そんな先輩の嘘は分からなかったですけど。
Wait, is that it? Okay.
結局それって姉さんが先輩の気遣いを無視して勝手に勘違いしてるってことじゃないですか。
Well, I guess so,
だ
but
ったらやっぱり姉さんが悪いです。
Yoko just laid everything out in her usual no-nonsense tone. But it was my deception that provided the chance for her.
二人とも好きだから振り回したなんてそんなこと言えないですよ。普通ドン引きしますし。
Ah,
ありえないですよね。付き合う前から心が二股なんてないです。普通ないです。
no, I didn't think so either. But in this case, that's how it was. There was nothing I could do about it.
だから先輩のことを疑って勝手に疑心暗鬼に陥ってる姉さんが全面的に悪いです。先輩は気にする必要ありませんよ。そこは。
After hearing what Yoru had to say, I did feel ever so slightly relieved. I'm not sure why, but okay. But you can say that, but it's still my fault, and besides, just leaving us all alone like that.
そういうところが火種を大きくしてるんです。きっと。 先輩は優しいです。でもこういう時は優しくしちゃダメなんです。女の子は優しくされると突き上がる生き物なんです。だからその優しさに甘えて自分勝手になっちゃう。こういう時は突き放してやらなきゃダメなんです。振ろうとしたんだったら嫌われる覚悟も持ってください。先輩には人に嫌われる覚悟がありません。
Prepared to be hated. Well, she was definitely right about that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
私が何とかします。
Hmm?
先輩、一応聞いておきますよ。私と姉さん どっちも好きってことに間違いはないですね。
Yeah.
じゃあ大丈夫です。私が何とかします。
She said she was gonna handle it, but I wondered what exactly she intended to handle. I asked her, but she wouldn't answer me.
はあ、やっぱりもういる。ちょっと葵くん、何夜と二人で勝手に学校行っちゃってるのよ。
Gehan totally.
あーじゃないわよ。私が飛び予想に行ったらもういないし。登校日はみんなで行こうって話してたのにね。だから今朝はアゲハも寮にわざわざ寄ってくれたのに。
I think if it was true. I want to talk with Yoru one-on-one, but somehow after we stepped out the dorm, we ended up saying that we would go to school along with everyone else.
ほんと、葵ってば白状よね。
Wait, so you went like with all your school stuff? You just went out to the front yard to like talk, but you brought all your school stuff with you anyway? Okay.
なんで待ってくれなかったのかしら。
I'm really sorry. There's something I want to talk to Asa about. You guys go ahead.
朝からコソコソしてて、それも怪しいわよね。何を話してるんだか。
Well, that's kind of...
あの後、せっかく朝が元気になって出てきたのに。
What? Really? Asa?
うん、私たちと一緒に学校来たよ。カナが部屋に様子を見に行ったら、もうだいぶ調子が良くなったって出てきたの。それで一緒に学校に来たわけね。
Kaneko.
葵くん。
And just as we were talking, Kaneko appeared. Kaneko about Asa.
そのことを伝えに来たんだけど、コトリンとアゲハちゃんに聞いたみたいね。
Yeah, so I guess it wasn't a cold, was it?
そうね。ちょっとずる休みっぽかったし、連れてきちゃった。
Brought her along.
だってずる休みは良くないわよ。私が部屋に行った時ね、朝ちゃん学校に行くか悩んでたの。もう制服にも着替えてね。
Asa was gonna come to school.
迷ってたみたいね。だから誘ったのよ。迷うくらいなら来いって。
Is that right? I suppose it was painful for her to come face to face with me. That's why she didn't come down that morning. It wasn't that she didn't want to go to school, it's just that it was hard for her to go with us. I'm sorry, I'm just so spineless.
気にしない気にしない。同じ屋根の下で暮らしてる仲間じゃない。手助けくらいはするわよ。え、葵くん何かやらかしたの？
Well, yeah, I guess so. Don't worry about it.
気にしないでって言われると気になるのが人間の差がってものよね。アゲハ、こうなったら徹底的に調べ尽くしてやりましょう。あの山に生えるタケノコのように。どういうことなの、葵？
You guys are annoying. Over this means that now Asa and Yoru might run into each other in the classroom.
おっと、急いで教室戻らないと。じゃあまたね。
Kaneko then rushed out of the classroom. I was bummed out, but before going to the club, I wanted to drop by the first-year classroom. Yoru said that she would do something, but these were seeds that I had sown. I couldn't just leave it up to her. It was a school day, so school finished in the morning. What? It was a school day, so school finished in the morning. What? What does that even mean? As soon as we were dismissed, I went directly to the first year's room. Because I thought if I was too slow, Asa might end up going back to the dorm. It might have been better to go back to the dorm first so we could discuss things more slowly, but I just wanted to talk about it as soon as possible. I've made up my mind, this was not the time to hesitate. As I got closer to Asa's classroom, I noticed some kind of commotion. People were gathered outside the room, peeking inside.
なあなあ、何かあったのか？喧嘩らしいぜ。
The fight?
なんか双子が喧嘩してるんだと。掴み合いにまでなってるらしいぜ。
No way.
だから部活に行かないって言うの？
Well, that's probably the best I'm gonna get.
だって私が行くと迷惑だもん。 輩の重しになっちゃうし、ヨルちゃんにだって。だからそれは誤解って言ってるじゃない。
Just as I expected, it was Asa and Yoru. Seems they weren't able to resolve things verbally, and they ended up tearing into one another. Yeah, that looks like some pretty vicious fighting.
先輩は姉さんに悪いから私を振ったんじゃない。そんなわけないよ。だって先輩嘘ついてる。私にはわかるの。嘘はついてるかもしれない。でもそういうのじゃないって言ってるじゃない。じゃあ何なの。
Asa grabbed hold of Yoru and pulled her close.
そういうのが、ヨルちゃんのそういうことが気に食わないって言ってるんだよ。いつもそうやって分かってる風に。私は同情されたいわけじゃないもん。
It was useless. Asa was totally in the dark. The moment they just carried on like that. Both of you.
先輩は騙しないでください。
I tried to say something, but they wouldn't let me get a word in edgewise. Most of the other kids were just standing by checking out the show. Some of the kids were a little freaked out and went to get the teacher, but for the most part everyone seemed to enjoy the spectacle.
いいぞー、もっとやれ
こういうのってキャットファイトって言うんだっけ。
Cat to fight though. Everybody likes a good show.
別に同情なんてしてないわよ。人の話も聞かず勝手に姉さんが暴走しているだけ。それにいつもそうやってって何。私は別に姉さんに対して余裕があるだなんて思ってない。思ってるよ。
Did they just run out of steam or what? For the moment they were just pulled apart. Even though it didn't really come to the point of throwing blows, both their faces were flushed with rage and was pretty nasty. Anyway, in a few moments both of them had cooled down.
ヨルちゃんにはわからないんだよ。私の気持ちなんて。何もできないって辛いんだよ。肩身が狭いんだよ。周囲がすごすぎるとそれだけで息するのが辛くて。
I feel like this music should be changed to something that's a little bit more serious. Like if you change the music to something more serious, this whole scene would be completely different. Instead of just this kind of wacky music.
ヨルちゃんは優秀だから余裕な態度で私を哀れむ。空を飛べるからそんなことができちゃうの。いい加減にしてよ姉さん。上とか下とかそんな話は私はしてない。そうやって勝手にコンプレックス抱えて私のこと勝手に憎んで恨んで。知ってる。姉さんがそういう風に時々私に嫉妬してたことくらい。だってこれだけ一緒にいるんだもん。そんなの分かって当然じゃない。でも同情なんてしないわよ。言ってるじゃない。私は姉さんのことをすごいと思ってる。尊敬してる。だから私もいつだって姉さんの憧れであろうとしてる。ただそれだけ。それなのになんでそんなことを言うの。
Yoru talked to her just like you would a small child, gently but yet firm in a way.
私はすごくないし、それにヨルちゃんが振られるわけだって。だったら私が悪いに決まってて。姉さん、ほんとその突き抜けた自信のなさどうにかした方がいいわよ。だって先輩は嘘をついてるんだもん。私にはわかるんだもん。そんなの私のせいに決まってるじゃない。もう。
Yoru gasped in amazement.
あのね、いい？姉さん。先輩はそうじゃないの。先輩はね、私も姉さんも好きだから私たちを振ったの。
We're just gonna talk about this in the middle of the classroom? Alright. You know, I'm right here. Asa looked at me. I just nodded without saying a word as everyone...
そんなどうしてどちらかだけ傷つけたりそれで禍根を残したりそういうのが嫌だったそうよだから二人とも振った別に私を選んでたけど姉さんに遠慮したとかそういうのじゃないわ姉さんは素敵な女の子私に劣らないくらいねどんな逆境も乗り越えて頑張れるそんな女の子よそんな姉さんだから先輩も好きだったのよだから私はダメだのどうの言ってたらそんな姉さんを好きな先輩にも失礼よ、姉さんにはいつだって弱い自分に飲まれず頑張ってほしいってそう思ってるからごめんなさいヨルちゃん私こちらこそいつもごめん姉さん
Well, that was the end of their talk. Two of them just looked at one another for a while without saying a word. The other students around were getting really caught up in the way things were playing out.
つまりあの人が原因ってこと？
こういうのって二股って言うんだっけ
Then most of the commotion started to come my way. So that's what happens. Once their stories are consolidated, it became obvious that I was the cause of it all. It was hard to be there. I wanted to run, but to just go and leave the two of them.
ほらお前ら何教室で喧嘩してるんだってお前たちはソアリング
Now we're calling it the Glider Club, huh? Yeah, I can tell that someone different is translating this chapter, because there's been a few sentence mistakes that, like, they weren't typos, but they were actually kind of mistakes that kind of, like, you can still figure it out, but if you're just glancing over it, you're not gonna understand. Uh-oh, Tobioka. Students that had gone to find the teacher came back with him.
またお前らはいらんトラブルをとにかく喧嘩はやめだ
大丈夫ですもう仲直りしましたから
いや大丈夫ってこんな騒ぎにしたんだ状況くらいは今から生徒指導室で説明をだな
ですよね姉さんというわけよ先輩
Yoru had a few things to say to me. Times like this. Guess that's how it is, huh, Tobioka? Both of you, let's go. Took both of them by the hand and bolted out of the classroom.
おいこら何がそういうわけでだあと廊下は走るなこら
He just ignored Tobioka and kept running on towards the foyer? Sure. I bet he's gonna be mad at us later.
いいんじゃないですか喧嘩は本当に終わっていたわけですし勝手に騒いでいたのは他の生徒です
Why didn't you just say that? Yeah, I guess you're right. On that note, I was thinking we should go on to the club, but Oz's coming too, right? Are we just leaving all your stuff in the classroom? Okay. I need a drink. Yoru's pep talk worked then. Thankfully, they managed to come together. We didn't really talk at all about what happened. We just went to the secret base without any discussion and applied ourselves fully to the club activities. Every time our eyes met, Ozza looked away embarrassed. Ozza looked embarrassed and looked away. Because she knew how I felt now, or maybe she was just embarrassed because I had seen the fight earlier. I guess it was probably a little both. It wasn't as if everything was neatly reconciled, not at all. Rather, we just reverted back to the state of limbo we were in before. The only thing I was wrong about was thinking that both of them knew how I felt. Told them my intentions, they knew how I felt, but I still felt like I needed to check my feelings again and give them some kind of an answer. I had no intention of going out with both of them. That's probably what's gonna happen, because people call it the twin route. I'd already decided not to.
朝はい朝って空とか鳥が好きらしいわね。そういう話を妹から小耳に挟んだわ。
From my girls, it makes it sound like you have a bunch of kids.
ええ、まあ憧れていいわよ。惚れていいわよ。え My name is 小鳥。I am は小鳥。
Why didn't you just say little bird?
すみません。ちょっと言ってる意味がわからないです。理解すらされてないじゃない。あ、今あんた私のギャグで笑ったでしょ。ん？そんなことはないですよ。嘘言いなさいな。私は見たわよ。私の仕草を見てくすりと笑うあなたの様子を。私が鳥先輩なんて見て笑うわけがないでしょ。いや、いつだって笑い物にはしていますけど。仲直りはできたってとこかな。
Yeah, that's right. Were you worried about us? What? With my sister? Okay, sure.
まあそれなりに。
Kaneko let out a laugh. Seems to me there's no need to worry. Is that supposed to be with the sisters, not your sister? See what I mean? Like, you can understand things, you just have to think about it for like a half a second longer. But I still haven't come to my final decision. Once again, I've got to tell them properly and wrap things up properly.
葵くんは本当に物事に誠実よね。しっかりしすぎている嫌いもあるけど。
That sketchy, non-committal attitude is for kids. Whenever you do, you should do it properly.
そういうとこかっこいいと思うよ。あの子たちがいなかったら惚れてるかも。
What?
なんて冗談よ。
Please don't play around like that.
今日は随分と進んだわね。
Just as the sun was setting, someone said the word and we ended club activities for the day. It wasn't something that one person decided, but there was a what? A tacit understand? Okay, well I know what it's trying to say. I'm trying to figure out what that word is supposed to be. Is it supposed to be?
今日はこの辺でお開きとしましょうか。じゃあアゲハちゃんに小鳥ちゃん、今日私ウィンディーで買いたいものがあるんだけど付き合ってくれないかな。え、別に構わないけど。私たちだけ？うん、女の子だけで行きたいとこなの。でも葵くんを一人で帰らせるのもかわいそうでしょ。だから
I said that Kaneko should be included.
女の子だけってまさか。葵くんにいつも同じ下着履いてる女って思われるのも嫌だなって。葵、かなこさんの下着いつも見てんの？
She's always showing me herself.
不潔。
Kaneko, you also tell her to put on some clothes?
じゃあそういうわけだから二人は連れて行っちゃうわね。またね、あさちゃんとよるちゃんも。いや、はい。お疲れ様でした。また後で。
Kaneko hastily made her preparations to go home and left with Kotori and Nagea. Naturally, the three of us, Aza, Yoru, and I, were left alone. They were sure to make time for me. So let's go back home too. We just walked along, engulfed in an awkward silence. It wasn't threatening, just confusing. I wondered what I should say, but I felt like I had to say something. We had to pick up where we left off with the previous talk. I think Azayaru and I were probably all thinking the same thing. Two of them knew how I felt, and of course I know how they felt. So now what I had to do was to divide them up again. Divide them up by telling them how I felt. Okay, Asa, Yoru. I stopped and stood right there. Two of them stopped too.
ごめんなさい。
Asa? Just as I was about to tell them, I got thrown off when Asa interrupted me.
ずっと考えてたんです。やっぱりまずは私が謝らないとって。あんなに迷惑かけてしまって。
No, the trouble is that
昨日からあんなに何度もすみませんでした。
本当よ。姉さんは一度大いに反省してください。
そうよね。私のくだらない悩みのために二人を。
No, that's not true.
悩みはくだらないなんてことはないでしょ。
はい、そうでした。
ま、そういうことね。私もごめんね、姉さん。もう少しさしてあげればよかった。姉さんのこともこの恋のことも。それにね、心のどこかで確かに姉さんのこと同情的に見てたのかも。私ね、先輩は姉さんと付き合ってほしいって思ってたから。だから余裕ぶっちゃってたのかもしれない。そういうの見透かされて姉さんの負担になってたのかも。
At that point, their words broke off and silence filled the air. To be exact, the sounds of cars in the distance and the whooshing sound of the line of wind turbines reverberated around us, but it felt as if all the sound had been sucked out of the world. Or maybe time just stopped. Time and sound just took a rest, waiting for my response. Well, I made up my mind. Tell them both once more. I like both of you, but for that reason, I'm not going to go out with either of you. I'm sorry. My answer hadn't changed at all.
あのさ、先輩。
I was prepared to be chastised. I don't remember how to pronounce that. I wouldn't have cared if they blamed me, or got angry, or even swore at me. I was prepared for their complaints.
ちょっと提案があるんだけど。
Proposal.
だったら両方と付き合っちゃえばいいんじゃないですか。いやだって私も姉さんも先輩のことが好きなわけじゃないですか。で先輩も私たちのことを好いてくれていると。だったら何も悩むことはないと思うのですが。先輩は私たち2人と付き合えばいい。
What? No. No, wait a minute. However compelling that may have been.
そうだね。そうすれば誰も損しない。
Oh. No, wait a minute. Why are you agreeing to this?
だってみんなきちんと付き合ってるんです。それなのにわざわざ全部の気持ちを無視するのももったいないじゃないですか。
A waste. She had a point, but is it really such a good idea to just respond to human emotions like that? No matter what, it's gonna be a problem. One person going out with two people in real life, two timing just leads to
二股の何が悪いんですか。
dual wielding. What?
私は先輩を独占したいわけじゃありません。私が欲しいのは先輩の愛です。
Oh. No, but
愛することは傷つくことだなんて言ってる人たちって恋に酔ってるだけの酔っ払いですよ。
No.
私たちは先輩の愛をシェアすることに決めたのです。
でも私たち以外に浮気するのは許しませんので。
So ultimately, you do want me all to yourselves? I don't know what they thought they were telling me about. I don't know what they thought they were telling me about being so open-minded, okay?
だって気持ちが届かないのって寂しいじゃないですか。このシェアは 不可能なシェアではありません。私と姉さんが納得できる珍しいシェアです。
And like, what's everyone else gonna think about this?
私は誰もが損をせず幸せになれる、そんな方法を提案したいのです。
The way you're talking, it sounds like a sales pitch or something.
そういうのってダメでしょうか。私わがままなんですよ。姉さんに不幸せになってほしくない。自分だってそうありたい。その可能性があるならその努力をしてみたいです。お願いもしてみたいです。お願いです、先輩。私も姉さんも先輩のことが好きですから。
I realized that they were serious. They weren't kidding, and they weren't just desperate. Of course, common sense would tell you that there's no way to answer, but they had the gall to ask.
私からもお願いです。
Asa,
私もヨルちゃんとだったらいいです。こんなお願いされて先輩は迷惑だと思いますし、もしかしたら嫌いになっちゃったかもしれませんが、でも好きです先輩。私たち2人と付き合ってください。
both of you. Go out with two people. Yesterday I was really distraught, but I wasn't straight with them about it. In my own mind, it might have fit into the framework of common sense, but of course, Yogo and Asa both agreed to it. And if they agreed to my response... But did I really have the power to make two people happy? I was feeling kind of cowardly. I just girded my loins and told myself, you're a man, Aoi Minase, this was their idea. For a man, it's a shame to not partake in such a treat. Okay. If I'm a man, I'll do it. I know, I got it. I want to go out with both of you.
先輩
Both of them just smiled from ear to ear. When I saw that, I felt so relieved that I answered the way I did. I'm looking forward to it with both of you. I moved closer to the two of them.
先輩
This is like something from a dream. I gently embraced the two of them, and after that I ended up going out with both of them. Well, okay. Oh, look at that. We're having a nice break here. Let's see if there's a cliffhanger afterwards. Well, aside from a little bit of translator idiocy, things are going... I don't want to say things are going well. I don't particularly like this kind of thing. But at this point I started dating both Asa and Yoru. He says out loud, so is he talking to someone? Because that's going to be weird. Well, we'll see how weird it is next time. Wow, it's almost 50. Alright, well, thank you for watching, and goodbye.